Hello everybody, my name is Nick and this is Load TV. As always, if this is your first time joining us, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel, as well as check out Load.one to learn more about how Load is putting idle silver to work. And if you're already a member, welcome back. Now, the beginning of October has been kind to precious metals as silver and gold came under sharp pressure as September came to a close. The redeployment of capital in a market that has turned dire rather quickly has boded well for the precious metals. Joining me today is Todd Bubba Horwitz of BubbaTrading.com. Bubba, thank you for joining us.
Great to be here.
All right, Bubba, you're known as a silver enthusiast and guru. Can silver finally make the push to $18 to $20 here? We're presently sitting around the $17 mark.
You know, I think if you look, I'm going to use the futures as my baseline. Okay, so the December futures are trading around 17, the high 17s. They got to get to 1850 first. I mean, I do think we're going to get there eventually, but I can't say, I'm not as bullish today as I have been in the past. There's been some damage done from a technical standpoint to the charts. So right now, I'm cautiously bullish. I mean, obviously, eventually, I think we get to 20 and we get past there. But in a very near term here, I think the precious metals may have a little more pressure, even though they've been strong to start the month.
Now, historically, silver and gold follow each other. However, in this circumstance, is there the possibility for silver to break out independently?
Well, it certainly could, because when you look at the gold to silver ratio, it was supposed to be 15 times. That was the original mandate way back when they had this whole thing. Now it's like 90. So certainly it could go to 70, which would mean silver would have a much bigger rally than gold. So I have no problem seeing that. And I do believe you will see that again. I mean, back in, what was it, 11? I can't remember how far back it was, but when gold first hit 1900 and silver was at 50. So we can certainly get into a much tighter ratio without a problem. So if we're going to see a rally, I think that will be the edge, that the spread will narrow and silver will outperform gold.
Many experts believe that silver is the precious metal with the most potential upside. What are the fundamentals driving this? What do you have to say to people when they say to you that because of silver's massive supply, it won't impact the price, or it is a negative for the price?
Well, I think you have to look at it a couple of different ways. If you look at silver purely as a precious metal, which is more than that, then of course, why would you buy a precious metal? Either for jewelry or maybe for a currency at some point. It's a lot easier to use silver as a currency if you get there, because the denominations are so much smaller. I mean, you can ask them for a change for a 1 ounce coin of gold. So, there's that benefit, but it's also got some industrial benefit as well. So, the precious metals have been, at fodder for a long time, whether it's conspiracy crap going on or other things happening. At the end of the day, silver should outperform gold. It probably will at some point, and it will go higher. But it does have other uses. So it isn't industrial. Gold sits there, you wear it, whatever. But silver actually gets used up. So we'll see what happens. But I do think that it has a much better chance.
Now, moving forward, rising concerns around global growth, potential escalations in the U.S.-China trade war, as well as the potential of a no-deal hard Brexit, weigh heavily on risk appetite. If these sentiments take root, does this bode well for silver?
I do. I mean, I see both gold and silver benefiting if this all falls apart. Now, we've already priced in a lot, right? We already know the global economy is melting down. We already know the United States is the strongest. However, don't forget that's also keeping the dollar very strong, which will be a hamper on getting these precious metals to push forward. Because again, the dollar, in my opinion, I've been saying that the dollar's going to go to par for quite a while, and it's just about there now. So if the dollar's going to remain strong, they can rally. But the more escalation, the more people want to get away from traditional assets. And the other thing we have to look at is interest rates. The Fed, although I'm an anti-Fed and I don't believe in them, and I think they have no clue, but based on what's going on around the globe, they should lower rates. And if you start to lower rates even further, that's going to be bringing even more value to the precious metals.
So when you talk to people about holding precious metals and like silver, how do you like to do so? Is it digital? Is it physical? Is it small denominations or large bars? Give us an insight here.
I like physical, okay, but I also like some of the ETFs. Again, physical is what I want to own. Physical is what I'm going to keep in my basement or under, somewhere I'm going to hide it, right? But again, if I want to trade it, I want to be more active. I mean, I use the futures market. I will use the equity markets, in the silver ETFs. But again, I would have no problem. I'm a big fan of digital currency, and I'm a big fan of the crypto world. But again, backed by silver is great, because I think when you look forward, this is the big battle going on now is the Fed and the government's trying to put a hamper on these, because once the digital currencies take off and there's no more central banking system to intervene and reduce value, then all of a sudden you've got something going on. And that's what they're trying to avoid, so they can no longer manipulate the fiat currency system.
One last question for you today, Bubba. Thank you again so much for joining us here. When you speak about a person's portfolio of precious metals, of their overall portfolio, how much do you recommend allocating to silver and gold?
Yeah, I mean, I think that everybody should have 5 to 10% representation in precious metals. I mean, you go a little bit more. So obviously, some go a lot more. But I will say this: no matter what happens in the world, the biggest growth still comes from equities. But you should have some of those safety assets, that alternative currency, and build a portfolio from there, because it's going to grow. And if it outperforms your portfolio, you can rebalance it out. But again, I'm a big believer in both, right? I don't think I don't think you should, as they say, put all your eggs in one basket. So, but if somebody wanted to go a little bit higher, I would think that's okay. But again, I don't want to get too big, because I still know that in history, now that could change, but in history, nothing has outperformed the equity markets over time.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Thank you for joining us in our interview of Bubba Horwitz of BubbaTrading.com. So glad that you guys could join us. And as always, if this is your first time, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel, as well as check out Lode.one to learn more about how Lode is putting idle silver to work. That's all for today, guys, and take care.